Rotate.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Flight Sim 008 video. Since we last spoke, both FS Labs dropped their A320 for P3D, and the PMDG 747V3 released as well. And that's what we're going to be flying today. Because with the help of some friends from Reddit and the Flight Sim Discord, we came up with an idea to recreate one of my favorite missions from FSX. Anyone remember the Quito Approach? Well, I do. And I had a lot of fun flying it. So for nostalgia's sake, that's exactly where we are now. The old Mariscal Sucre International closed its doors in February of 2013, but thanks to Aerosoft, we still have the opportunity to fly into this challenging urban airport. So I've set out gathering as many details from the original FSX mission as I could, including weather conditions and payload figures. The only difference is that the FSX mission had ATC instructions, whereas we'll be flying the procedural approach from the local VOR. It starts at 17,000 feet over Quebec, India Tango, and then an outbound leg for 16 miles on a heading of 152, descending to 12,000. Then the right-hand turn to our final course of 354 to intercept the localizer. The interesting thing about this approach is the elevation, the terrain, and the airport being situated smack in the middle of the city. Couple that with our rather gusty and rainy weather, and this should make for a very fun approach. Alright, so we're inbound the NDB about 13 miles out, and what we'll do is we'll drop it down to 17,000. We'll do flight level change rather, and we'll do 250 knots. You can see the wind is bouncing us around quite a bit around here. I'll reset my view and then uncage TrackIR. There we go. So it's not the prettiest of days out here. So the original FSX mission did an actual decent job of replicating this procedure just using vectors, but we're just going to fly, well, it's essentially the same procedure. We're going to fly inbound to the Quebec, India Tango VOR, then outbound 150 to 16 miles, then a right turn to the final. 17,000 at the VOR, and then 210 knots all the way outbound. Slow it down as we and descend to 12,000. So I'm going to go on local QNH here so that we hit 17,000. Might have to, oh no, okay, it's doing a pretty good job of descending and slowing. We are getting rattled around. Let's do speed brakes, auto brakes 3. Seatbelt signs on. No smoking is auto. That's fine. So we can see the field from out here. Yep, there it is. So that's where we're going. I'm basically gonna track outbound like that and then loop back around and land, hopefully, on runway 35. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Go ahead and turn on all of the shiny switches. Because why not? So we're over the VOR now. We're starting our right turn, which means we can descend down to 12,000 and do flight level change. And we'll start bringing out some of the draggy bits. So there goes flaps 1. And in the mission, it was 210 knots. So what we'll do is we will do 210 as well. And we'll do vertical speed. About, we want to be 12,000 by the end of, at the end of this. So where's the banana now? It's not showing. Interesting. Where's my banana? Good old Boeing banana. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we do need a decent rate of descent here to get down to 12,000 for the turn. Although the 12,000 restriction's coming out of the turn, so I don't think it's too bad if we overshoot, excuse me, the altitude a little bit on the outbound leg. So there's our VOR, and what I'll do, excuse me, is I will, the beacon is on 350. There we go. See if that identifies. And because our target speed is below the flaps 1 speed, we'll bring out flaps 5. Visibility's not great, is it? Hopefully once we get below this layer, we'll start to see a little bit more. But it's certainly windy. We're getting tossed around. Okay, so when this hits 16 DME, which is basically this circle here, that's when we begin our right-hand turn to final. And in the mission, it was 210 on a heading of 150. We're showing 150. We'll sync this up. And then once we come out of the turn, that's when I'll definitely start slowing a little bit more. But in the mission, it was cleared for a visual. We have the ILS set up already, but I'll probably just hand fly it in if at all possible. I'm gonna start bringing the speed back a little bit more even now. We'll do flaps 10-ish speed. We'll do 190. How's that? Bring out flaps 10. So at that 16 DME, that's when our right-hand turn is going to begin. Sweeping right-hand turn to final. You can see the aircraft is already starting to bank. The terrain here is ridiculous. I mean, look at that. Incredible. Alright, so we're leveling at 12 now. And what I'll do is I'll put it into heading mode, and we'll try to square this off a little bit more. And what you can do is this, and then 3, 5, 6, I think, is the final course. There you go. So you get a nice. Might have been a little bit less than that. 3, 5, 4 maybe. Let's try 3, 5, 4. so you kind of get an extended center line, excuse me, on the approach. All right, we're getting a little bit out here of 16 miles, so we'll reel it back in. Can we see the field? Not quite yet. Oh boy, the weather here today. I tried to replicate it as best I could, the weather from the mission. So I got the exact weather conditions on the surface at least, and then tried to mimic as much of the cloud layers as I possibly could using Active Sky Next. Okay, so we're basically going to come over that ridge there, and there's the field there. Okay. So let's start making our inbound turn to the center fix. Auto throttle having a field day. But I am glad I chose South America because I've been a little bit tired of the winter textures that in North America and in Europe right now, because everything's snow covered. So either go to a sunny destination or the southern hemisphere where it's currently summer. But what a summer it is. Alright, so we've got a decent inbound course now. Gonna hit the approach button. We've got lock and glide slope armed. Alright, so the final approach speed in the mission was 155-ish. Let's see what our VREF speed is. I don't know if I put it in already. Yeah, it's 155 plus 5, so that'll be 160 for us. So let's dial it back down to 160. We'll do 162 just for good measure. Dump out some more flaps. I'm going to take control of the aircraft pretty much. Yeah, screw it. Okay, so we're coming over the hill. The minimums are 9850. We're going to get a whole bunch of inaccurate radio altimeter callouts because that's just the nature of terrain coming up and bouncing off of, well, the terrain radar bouncing off the terrain at different altitudes. Alright, so my aircraft, the wind has, the buffeting at least has died down a little bit, so that's nice. I'm going to pitch down a little bit. Look at this plateau. It's ridiculous, the terrain here. I don't know how anybody did this in real life. It's incredible. Hats off to them. Okay, so we're getting a little bit to the left there, correcting right. And we're a little bit high. Nothing too worrisome yet. A little bit of down trim. And I'm going to sync up my throttles like so. Yeah, I know. Okay. There we go. A little bit more power as we level ourselves off here a little bit. Arrest the descent. Oh, maybe a little bit too much. A little bit of down trim. Coming over these buildings. Must have been really interesting to see all of these airplanes come right over these people's houses back in the day. Still a little bit on the high side, so I'm gonna pitch down a little bit. Centerline tracking is good. So spoilers armed, and gear is down. Flaps 30. Landing checklist complete. Speed's looking okay. We're right on the profile. A little bit high again. There's a plateau right before the threshold. Alright.
30, 20, 10.
Rest the power, and alright, probably a little bit hard, but I'll take it. Derotate, stay on the center line. That was a 50-knot headwind, direct headwind, so it wasn't buffeting around too much on final. I think that helped me quite a bit. There's 80 knots. Reverses stowed. And we'll probably be able to take this exit here at Foxtrot. Yeah. Auto brakes off. Welcome to Quito in Ecuador. Make this turn here. And we'll go find ourselves a parking spot. Just finishing cleaning up the aircraft here. Can ditch the strobes and get rid of the auto brake. Our parking is right up there. Would be the cargo for Martin Air. We can get rid of the weather radar and the terrain radar. There we go. And ditch the TCAS. Suppose we could start the APU. Alright, parking spot is somewhere over here. I guess Marshall. Okay, the Marshall is going to be over there. So where do we turn? Where's the lead-in line? Okay, it's that one. Hang on, I'm gonna uncage TrackIR for this because otherwise that's going to be a little difficult. Bloody heck! All right. Ditch the annoying wipers. Very important in the 7.4. Always make sure to transfer onto the one of the APU buses or ground power bus before shutting down. Ask me how I know that. All right. Well, that sure was interesting. Should have taken this off after a while ago. Oh well. Let us unload some cargo.